So guys, first of all, welcome to VISHNU IS Academy, and here I am at the rate of 5 p.m. for you. Under the program Tapasya, I came with a model answer. For your group 1 mains, and also of course it's useful for your UPSC mains also. And today the topic is geography. Okay, the subject is geography, and the topic is climate, forests, and finally biomes. You'll understand the topic when I just display the question for you. Fine. And this is the most important topic, and today question చాలా important. ఎందుకంటే బేసికల్గా మనకి క్వశ్చన్స్ అనేవి స్ట్రైట్గా ఉంటుంది, బట్ ఈరోజు క్వశ్చన్ అనేది మీరు సాల్వ్ చేయాలి అంటే మీకు ఒక క్యాలిక్యులేటెడ్ ఇంటర్లింకేజ్ అనేది తెలియాలి. దట్ ఇంటర్లింకేజ్ బిట్వీన్ ది క్లైమేట్, ఫారెస్ట్, స్పీసెస్. ఫైన్. సో ఆ ఇంటర్లింకేజ్ తెలిస్తే కానీ మీరు ఈ క్వశ్చన్కి సరిగ్గా ఆన్సర్ రాయలేరు. Fine. Now let me show you the question first. Yeah, here is the question. Indian climate is structured with varied diversity. Talking about climate. Varied diversity based on which different types of forests are developed. So this is the statement. Okay, again I am reading out for you. Indian climate is structured with varied diversity based on which different types of forests are developed. Describe the interrelation between the climate and forests in India. So again, today also the declaration question. So you have to substantiate the declaration with your answer. So first of all, you need to understand the question. Indian climate is multi-diversified, highly diversified, because you can watch out the climate which is completely hot, torrid, tropical, to the cold, or temperate climate we can experience in India. Fine. So here in the question, if you carefully observe, just because of the diversified climate, different types of forests do exist in India, it seems. So there is an interrelation already given in the question as a declaration between climate, forests. Because of the different climates exist in India, just because of that those different climates, so different types of forests exist. You got it? So you need to bring out the interrelation between these two. Fine. So what would be the expectation of an examiner from this question? See, whenever there's a declaration given, but it is a haphazard declaration, you have to complete it. What was the balanced part of this declaration? Yes, because of climate, different types of forests exist in India, and forests are acting as the natural habitats for diversified species of flora and fauna. That is the line which you have to complete on yours. Again, I am telling you, as per the question, because of the climates, different types of climates, different types of forests do exist. That is given in the declaration in the question. Balanced part is that these forests, the different types of forests exist because of the climate. These forests are acting as the natural habitats for diversified species, that is flora and fauna. So today, if you want to conserve, protect these species, both flora and fauna, you need to understand the linkage between this climate and also the forests. You understood, right? So you need to bring up the content which is shadowed into the light, and then you have to bring up the content interlinking the climate, forest, species. Clear? Fine. So here one more thing I am telling you. Questions like this can be perceived in two methods by the aspirants. First, general method, this would be done in majority cases. That was, they will be taking the keywords like Indian climate, forests separately. So they will be coming up with the content which talks about Indian climate and different types of forests without interlinking these two. And finally, just because the question has been asked that these two keywords has to be interlinked, like it is asking interrelation, in the end, in the conclusion, you will be planning to give an interrelation. That won't work out. Because one thing again I'm repeating you every day I'll be repeating you that, this is the core subject of the question. The core subject of the question has to be sensed in the introduction, in the body of the answer and in the conclusion too. ఏదైతే మెయిన్ డిమాండ్ ఉంటుందో క్వశ్చన్కి మెయిన్ డిమాండ్ ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో ఆ మెయిన్ డిమాండ్ని మీరు లాస్ట్లో కంక్లూజన్లో కంక్లూడ్ చేద్దాం అని అనుకోకండి. ఇంట్రడక్షన్లోనే ఆ మెయిన్ డిమాండ్ ప్రస్తావించాలి, అదేవిధంగా బాడీలో కూడా చెప్పబడి ఉండాలి, అదేవిధంగా కంక్లూజన్లో కూడా కంక్లూడ్ చేయబడి ఉండాలి. Fine. Anyways, going to the answer for you. I hope you understood the question. So the question has two demands. First demand is because of the climate, different forests exist. First demand. We have to substantiate. Second demand. Describe the interrelation between the climate and forest. These two. So first, how would you introduce? This is the approach of the question. Approach. This is the approach, structure of the answer. Okay, introduction. You have to start by introducing the topic. Chalo, start by introducing the topic. What is the topic? Indian climate, Indian forests are the topic. And then you have to highlight the significance of understanding the relationship between the climate and forests in India. Chalo, let us see first introduction here. Again I am telling you, introduce the topic first. And second, highlight the significance of the understanding the relation between the climate and forests in India. So the two demands of the question is being present in this introduction. Introduction lo rendu edaithe rendu demand unnayo prashnalo rendu demand lo kuda introduction lo cheppadu unnai. Fine. Proper introduction should accommodate all the demands of the question. Okay, sorry. Introduction etla icharo chuddam. First, introducing the topic, right? This is introducing the topic. India's forests are shaped by the country's different climates. Statement. Again, I told you, climates, just because of the climates, different types of climates or varied climates, different types of forests exist. As per the question, right? You rewrite the question. India's forests are shaped by the country's different climates. Okay, where the India's forests range from tropical type of forest to temperate type of forest. Because tropical type of climate to temperate type of climate accommodates such kind of forests. Okay, so now this is what exactly kind of introducing the topic. I told you introduce the topic. Again, this diversity in climate creates various types of forests, where each forest is unique. Because each forest will be having unique ecosystem, okay, and each forest is providing the natural, means acting as the natural habitat to different wildlife. See, very simple thing. Forests provide many services. One of the major services is ecosystem services. ఏంటది? ecosystem services. Fine. అంటే ఈ forests అనేవి వివిధ జీవరాశులు అంటే బయోడైవర్సిటీలో ఉన్నటువంటి డిఫరెంట్ స్పీసెస్ ఓకే బ్రతకడానికి ఓకే వాటి సర్వైవల్ కంటిన్యూ చేసుకోవడానికి కావాల్సినటువంటి ఈకో సిస్టమ్ని అది ఫారెస్ట్ అనేది క్రియేట్ చేసి ఇస్తుంది. ఈ ఈకో సిస్టంలో ఈ యొక్క డిఫరెంట్ డైవర్సిఫైడ్ స్పీసెస్ అనేవి ఫైన్ ఆ ఫారెస్ట్ని ఒక న్యాచురల్ హ్యాబిటేట్గా చేసుకొని దే విల్ బీ కోఎగ్జిస్టింగ్ విత్ అస్ బికాజ్ వీఆర్ ఆల్సో యానిమల్స్ ఆన్ ది ప్లానెట్. సో దే ఆల్సో కోఎగ్జిస్ట్ విత్ అస్. You got it right. So that is what నేను ఏం చెప్పాను, ఒక షాడో ఆస్పెక్ట్ ఉన్నట్టు క్వశ్చన్లో ఒక షాడో ఆస్పెక్ట్ ఉన్నటువంటి కాన్సెప్ట్ని మీరు బయటికి తీసుకురావాలి. ఇప్పుడు క్లైమేట్ ఫారెస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ గివెన్, బట్ వాట్ అబౌట్ ది స్పీసెస్? దట్ ఈచ్ ఫారెస్ట్ విల్ బి యూనిక్ బికాజ్ ఇట్ హ్యాస్ యూనిక్ ఎకోసిస్టమ్స్ అండ్ వైల్డ్ లైఫ్. ఎకోసిస్టమ్ అంటే ఏం లేదు, లైక్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ద ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్ ఓకే సూటబుల్ ఫర్ లివింగ్ ఆఫ్ పర్టికులర్ స్పీసెస్. ఓకే, ఈ ఎకోసిస్టంలోని న్యాచురల్ వెజిటేషన్ వస్తుంది, టెంపరేచర్ వస్తుంది, ప్రెసిపిటేషన్ వస్తుంది, అన్ని రకాలు వస్తాయి. ఫైన్, అవన్నీ మాట్లాడదాం. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ హౌ టిల్ వైల్డ్ లైఫ్ ఫ్రమ్ ఇండియాస్ ఫారెస్ట్. దీన్ని ఏమంటారు, ఈ 3 లైన్స్ ఏమంటారు, ఇంట్రడ్యూసింగ్ ద టాపిక్ అంటారు. ఇంట్రడక్షన్లో ఇంకో పార్ట్ చెప్పాను, హైలైట్ ది ఇంటర్ రిలేషన్షిప్ బిట్వీన్ ఓకే ద ఫారెస్ట్ అండ్ ద క్లైమేట్, రైట్? సో ఇప్పుడు మనం చూద్దాం అది. అండర్స్టాండింగ్ ద రిలేషన్షిప్ బిట్వీన్ ద క్లైమేట్ అండ్ ఫారెస్ట్ ఓకే హెల్ప్స్ అస్ to appreciate the importance of conserving these natural habitats for future generations of flora and fauna. సో ఇక్కడ మెనీ ఆఫ్ అస్ చాలా మందికి ఏంటంటే ఒక క్వశ్చన్ ఉంటుంది, సార్ ఇప్పుడు మనకి జనరల్గా 50% ఆఫ్ ది మార్క్స్ అనేవి ఇఫ్ వి గివ్ అ బెస్ట్ ఆన్సర్ వీ వుడ్ డెఫినెట్లీ గెట్ ది 50% ఆఫ్ ది మార్క్స్. అంతకు మించి అంటే 10 మార్క్స్కి 5 మార్క్స్ డెఫినెట్లీ మనం బెస్ట్ ఇస్తాం కానీ 5 మార్క్స్ వస్తాయి. అంతకు మించి 6.5 7 రావాలంటే ఏంటి? 7 రావాలంటే ఒకటి గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, ప్రతి క్వశ్చను ఒక కమ్యూనికేషన్ మెసేజ్ క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్ మీద. ఫైన్, మీరు ఆ మెసేజ్ని సరిగ్గా రిసీవ్ చేసుకొని అసలు ఆ క్వశ్చన్ యొక్క మెయిన్ డిమాండ్ ఏంటి అని తెలుసుకుంటే డెఫినెట్లీ టాప్ మార్క్స్ వస్తాయి. అంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, this question is not just about climate or not just about forest or not, also not just about the understanding the relation between the climate and forest. అంతకు మించి ఏంటి అంటే ఈ క్లైమేట్ వల్ల జనరేట్ అవుతున్న డిఫరెంట్ ఫారెస్ట్ అవి ఇస్తున్నటువంటి ఎకోసిస్టమ్ సర్వీసెస్ని అనలైజ్ చేయడమే. యు గాట్ ఇట్, దట్ ఈస్ ద మెయిన్ ఎయిమ్ ఆఫ్ ద క్వశ్చన్. మీరు ఎప్పుడైతే ఓకే జస్ట్ క్లైమేట్ ఫారెస్ట్ కాకుండా అంతకు మించి మీరు స్పీసెస్ వరకు వస్తారు, బయోడైవర్సిటీ వరకు వస్తారు. అదేవిధంగా వెన్ యూ కేమ్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ ది ఎయిమ్ ఆఫ్ అండర్స్టాండింగ్ ద రిలేషన్ బిట్వీన్ ది క్లైమేట్ అండ్ ఫారెస్ట్, అప్పుడు మీకు డెఫినెట్లీ టాప్ మార్క్స్ వస్తాయి. వాట్ ఈస్ ద ఎయిమ్ ఆఫ్ అండర్స్టాండింగ్ ది రిలేషన్ బిట్వీన్ క్లైమేట్ అండ్ ఫారెస్ట్? అసలు క్వశ్చన్లో ఎందుకు మనల్ని క్లైమేట్ అండ్ ఫారెస్ట్ని రెండింటికి ఉన్నటువంటి ఇంటర్ రిలేషన్ అండర్స్టాండ్ చేసుకోమంటున్నారు? ఎప్పుడైతే అది అర్థం అప్పుడు మనకి ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ ఫారెస్ట్ యొక్క ఇంపార్టెన్స్ అర్థం అవుద్ది. ఫారెస్ట్ ఎలా అయితే న్యాచురల్ హ్యాబిటేట్స్గా యాక్ట్ అవుతున్నాయో దాని ఇంపార్టెన్స్ అనేది క్లియర్గా అర్థం అవుద్ది. ఫైన్, అండ్ మోర్ అపాన్ ఇట్, ఇప్పుడు టుడే ద నీడ్ ఆఫ్ ద ఆర్ ఏంటి? ప్రొటెక్టింగ్ ద స్పీసెస్, కన్జర్వేషన్ ఆఫ్ ది స్పీసెస్. అసలు ద కన్జర్వేషన్ ఆఫ్ డిఫరెంట్ స్పీసెస్ ఇస్ ఎ సైన్స్. కన్జర్వ్ చేయాలి అంటే వాటిని తీసుకువెళ్ళి ఒక సేఫ్ ప్లేస్లో పెట్టేస్తే అవి కన్జర్వ్ అయినట్టు కాదు. యూ నీడ్ టు ప్రొవైడ్ ద ఎకోసిస్టమ్ విచ్ ఈస్ సూటబుల్ ఫర్ ఇట్స్ లివింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఎనీ స్పీసెస్. So, if you want to understand the science behind the conservation of species, you need to understand the relation between the climate and forest. So, this is the aim. Ee aim nu kuda meer introduction lo pettali. You got it? So, this is not asked in the question, but this is sensed in the question. You have to sense it. So, this is our introduction, guys. Fine. So, first introducing the topic, highlighting the second demand of the question. Okay, sare. Mari బాడీ ఎట్లా? ఫస్ట్ సైడ్ హెడ్డింగ్, డిఫరెంట్ క్లైమేటిక్ జోన్స్ హ్యావ్ ప్రొవైడెడ్ డిఫరెంట్ ఆర్ వెరైటీ ఆఫ్ ఫారెస్ట్, రైట్? సో ఇండియాలో డిఫరెంట్ ఫారెస్ట్ టైప్స్ ఏమేమి ఉన్నాయి? ఇఫ్ యూ నీడ్ నాట్ టు గో త్రూ ది ఎంటైర్ లిస్ట్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ది restrictions on the space and time we have, but at least six types of forests అయినా సరే మనం మెన్షన్ చేయాలి. సో యూ నీడ్ టు ఐడెంటిఫై ఫారెస్ట్ టైప్స్. యూ నీడ్ టు ఐడెంటిఫై ది ఫారెస్ట్ టైప్స్. కానీ ఒకటి గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఒక ఫారెస్ట్ అసలు లెట్స్ సే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ట్రాపికల్ ఎవర్గ్రీన్ ఫారెస్ట్ అని రాశారనుకోండి, అది ఒక ఫస్ట్ వేరియంట్ ఆఫ్ ఫారెస్ట్కి మీరు మెన్షన్ చేస్తారనుకోండి. అందులో ఏ పాయింట్లు రాయాలంటే గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, ఎప్పుడైనా సరే ఫారెస్ట్ గురించి రాసేటప్పుడు ఫస్ట్ పాయింట్ క్లైమేటిక్ కండిషన్స్ అంటే యావరేజ్ యాన్యువల్ రెయిన్ఫాల్ ఎంత ఉండాలి ఆ టైప్ ఆఫ్ ఫారెస్ట్కి, అదేవిధంగా టెంపరేచర్ ఎంత ఉండాలి, అది క్లైమేటిక్ కండిషన్ పక్కాగా మీరు రాయాలి ఫస్ట్. సెకండ్, ఇండియాలో ఏ రీజన్స్లో ఈ టైప్ ఆఫ్ ఫారెస్ట్ అనేవి ఉన్నాయి మీకు క్లియర్గా తెలిసి ఉండాలి. దానివల్ల ఆ రీజన్స్లో ఎటువంటి క్లైమేటిక్ కండిషన్స్ ఉంటాయో కూడా మీకు క్లారిటీ వచ్చేస్తుంది. థర్డ్ వన్, ఫైనలీ ఇట్స్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ప్రిజర్వింగ్ ఆర్ కన్సర్వింగ్ ది స్పీసెస్ కదా. సో వాట్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ స్పీసెస్ అనేవి మీరు గుర్తుపెట్టుకొని రాయాలి. ఈ మూడిట్లోని కొంచెం కష్టం, ఓకే, కాంప్లికేటెడ్ అండ్ కష్టమైనవి ఏంటంటే ఇదే. సో నా సజెషన్ ఏంటంటే వెన్ ఇట్ కమ్స్ టు స్పీసెస్, ఫైన్, మీరు ఈ పీపీటీలో ఇచ్చిన అన్ని స్పీసెస్ గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు, బట్ వీ ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ అట్లీస్ట్ 3 to 4 ప్రాపర్ స్పీసెస్. జంబులు మాత్రం చేయకండి. ఫైన్, సరే చూద్దాం. ఫస్ట్ ఐడెంటిఫై ది ఫారెస్ట్ టైప్స్. ఓకే, And second, you need to provide the interrelation between climate and forest along with some illustration examples. So chalo, let us see the body of the answer. First of all, the introduction and the body should be connected through a hook point. That hook point might be your opinion. Sometimes it's good to use a fact. I have used the fact, that is Indian forests. I want to write about Indian forests, right? Different types of Indian forests. Indian forests were classified by H.G. Champion in the year 1936 into 11 categories. Okay, but you need not to write all the 11 categories. Fine, at least 6 is okay. But this is the fact you need to get through. Fine. So here, first, tropical evergreen. In the name itself only, tropical, fine, evergreen. Evergreen means all around the year you can see the greenery. No shedding of leaves. You got it? Let us see. First I told you climatic conditions, right? That is the rainfall, and the other one is temperature. So coming to the tropical evergreen forests, 150 centimeter of average annual rainfall, and the temperature supports between 25 degrees to 27 degrees Celsius. This is the climatic condition needed for this type of tropical evergreen forest. What are the reasons? The second part is what are the different regions in the country which accommodates this type of forests. Okay, the reasons which has this climatic condition, 150 centimeters with the 25 to 27 degrees temperature, Celsius temperature. So what are those reasons? Northeast India. First, Northeast India, parts of Western Ghats, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, the upper portion of Assam, that is northern Assam, and the lower slopes of eastern Himalayas. Okay, lower slopes of eastern Himalayas, that is I am talking about the Shivaliks. Fine. And the regions of Orissa, finally, along the foothills of Himalayas. Okay, and when it comes to the physiographic conditions of Indo-Gangetic plain, you have the layers based on the depositions, right? When it comes to Indo-Gangetic plain, you will be having different terrains, right, based on depositions. That is Babar, Tarai, right? These regions also accommodates these type of tropical evergreen forests. You got it, right? These are the different or various regions accommodates this type of forests in India. And finally, okay, the nature, highlighting the nature of this forest. That is, this particular tropical evergreen forest, if you wish to see the scenery over there, you can have a multi-storied canopy pictures or canopy scenery over there. Okay, that's a very good natural site. So you will find good canopies over there. That too multi-storied structured with good canopies. Okay, you can see there. And most importantly, when you ever write about the tropical evergreen forest, this line should be present. Trees never shed their leaves. Trees do not shed their leaves annually. So that is why it is referred as evergreen. Okay, so just imagine when the leaves are not shedding. So obviously the big branches with the leaves and all, they cover the ground, right? They not even allow the sunlight to pass through those leaves to touch the ground. So when you don't have a sunlight, okay, coming over the ground, then how can we expect the concept of photosynthesis and the concept of, okay, like generations of other flora there. So over the ground, we cannot expect the grass also. It's completely dark, because there is a layer of, there are certain layers of the leaves and branches which doesn't allow the sunlight to pass through. Okay, that was how it is dense and thick. You got it? So this is how you have to write 3 good points about one variant of forest. So here, if you carefully observe, sir, you told me that you need to pinpoint the climate and forest. Okay, in every aspect of the answer, I pinpointed. That's simple. This is the climatic conditions. Because of these climatic conditions only, these type of forests were there. So this type of climate is supporting this type of forest, and this type of forest is acting as a natural habitat. Okay, so to many sort of species. You got it right? Next, important species over there: white cedar, Toon, Doop, Palicpinum, Mesua, and Colophyllum, Hopia, Canes, Gurzan, Chaplas, Agor, Muli, and bamboo sticks. See, these are the various, species. fine, where their ecosystem services are provided by the tropical evergreen forests. You need not to, remember everything, fine, at least 3 to 4, bus. Okay, next variant of forest type, the tropical moist deciduous. Tropical moist matlab moisture, fine, deciduous, with shed leaves, still shed leaves, unlike evergreen, deciduous shed leaves. And if you ask me a question that, sir, I have taken a map of India, which type of forests are majorly present across the country? Tropical moist deciduous forests. This dominates the picture of the varieties of forests exist in our country. Tropical moist deciduous. Okay, so basically these were the typical monsoon forests, with 2 species as the dominant species, teak, sal. Teak and sal are the dominant species. Okay, so for every, especially for every minor content pay, minute facts has to be associated. Okay, for example, evergreen forest they do not shed leaves. Other tropical moist deciduous forests and teak and sal are the important species. If A plus B whole square annattuga మీరు ఫిక్స్ చేసుకోవాలి ఈ కంటెంట్ని. You got it right. So that is the content you have to fix it. Anyways, climatic conditions వచ్చేసరికి ఏంటంటే average annual rainfall వచ్చేసరికి 100 to 200 centimeters average annual rainfall లో ఈ tropical moist deciduous forest సపోర్ట్ అవుతాయి. అలాగే కమింగ్ టు ది టెంపరేచర్స్ వచ్చేసరికి 24 degrees to 27 degrees Celsius ఆల్సో షుడ్ బి హ్యూమిడిటీ ఉండాలి, ఎందుకంటే మాయిస్ట్ కదా. How can you expect moisture without a humidity? Impossible, right? So humidity ranges around like 60 to 75% humidity అనేది ఉండాలి. Okay, humidity is nothing but presence of water vapor in the air. That's simple. Fine. So మరి ఏ రీజన్స్లో, ఇండియాలో ఏ రీజన్స్లో ఈ టైప్ ఆఫ్ ఫారెస్ట్ ఉంటాయి? ఫైన్, సహ్యాద్రి రేంజెస్, ఫైన్, సహ్యాద్రి మౌంటైన్ రేంజెస్, అలాగే నార్త్ ఈస్టర్న్ పార్ట్స్ ఆఫ్ ది పెనిన్సులా రీజన్. దట్ ఇస్ నార్త్ ఈస్టర్న్ పార్ట్ అంటే ఈస్టర్న్ ఘాట్స్ వైపు, along the foothills of the Himalayas. Okay, Himalayas దగ్గర కూడా అంటే శివాలిక్స్ దగ్గర కూడా, శివాలిక్ టైప్ వేరియంట్ ఆఫ్ హిమాలయస్ దగ్గర కూడా you can expect this type of tropical moist deciduous forest. Coming to the species, you already know both teak and sal are the dominant species. అవి కాకుండా of course they were economically important. Okay, besides this, sandalwood, shisham, hurra and khair. Okay, sandalwood, shisham, hurra and khair. Apart from teak and sal, which are economically important. Evi species, see, very simple: nature, climatic condition, reasons, species. Sare, next type of forest is the dry deciduous forest. What is the difference between the former one and this one? That one, the former one is moist, this is dry. Both shed leaves, deciduous now. The term deciduous itself says us, yes, it sheds leaves. Fine, so it is dry. Found in areas where the average annual rainfall ranges between 100 to 150 centimeters. 100 to 150 centimeters. Average annual rainfall with a temperature around 21 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius. This is the climatic condition which supports this type of forests in India. So in which regions this type of forests do exist? Okay, so coming to the regions, the regions such as the northwestern part of India, of India, and coming down the northern Rajasthan, and also northern Maharashtra, fine, and finally southern Gujarat, Malwa region. These are the areas where you will find this type of forest. See, northwestern part of India, especially the northern Rajasthan, the northern Maharashtra, the southern Gujarat. These type of areas you can find the rainfall ranges between 100 to 150 centimeters, and the temperature around 21 degrees to 25 degrees Celsius. Fine, and even this also you can find the natural canopies over there, but they were, unlike the tropical evergreen forest, you can't find the multi-storied or layered or structured canopies. This gives you the uneven canopies. This gives you what? Uneven canopies. Okay, and also enough light reaches the ground to permit the growth of grasses and climbers. Okay, because obviously the deciduous and it sheds the leaves, fine, and enough light can pass through the branches, pass through the leaves, fine, and finally reaches the ground. That will facilitate the growth of the so-called grasses and climbers on the ground. What are the different species we have got? Okay, what are the different species? Acacia, Jamun, Modesta, okay, Pistacia. These four are the main trees. You have no choice, you have to remember. And finally, grasses, shrubs, okay, grasses and shrubs appear during the season of general rains. Generally when it rains, you can find the grasses over the ground and shrubs, okay, coming up over the ground, fine, because during the time of general rains. So this is dry, this is about the dry deciduous forest. Next, tropical thorny forest. Tropical thorny forest. Okay, so you can understand this one. Thorny forest. First of all, what are the climatic conditions that facilitate this tropical thorny forest? First, average annual rainfall 75 to 100 centimeters, very low actually. Fine, it's equivalent to semi-arid region and arid region. Basically, semi-arid region, arid region, this type of rainfall pattern untundi. Okay, fine. When it comes to the temperature, 16 degrees Celsius to 22.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, see 16 degrees Celsius and when it comes to altitudes. Sir, మీరు arid and semi arid region లో మనకి టెంపరేచర్ ఎక్కువగా ఉంటుంది కదా, మనకు వచ్చేసరి 16 అలాగా లోవర్ లిమిట్ అవుతుందంటే ఐ హ్యావ్ టేకిన్ ది 16, ఓకే, సైటింగ్ ది ఆల్టిట్యూడ్. అదే రీజన్లో ఆల్టిట్యూడ్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా. సో when it comes to వ్యాలీస్కి వచ్చేసరికి అయితే 22.5 degrees Celsius వరకు ఉండాలన్నమాట. ఓకే, ఈ టెంపరేచర్ ఉంటాయి. సో దే ఫౌండ్ జనరలీ ఇన్ పెనిన్సులర్ ఇండియా, రాజస్థాన్, హర్యానా, పంజాబ్, వెస్టర్న్ ఉత్తరప్రదేశ్ and the Kutch region of Saurashtra, Gujarat, and central India, Madhya Pradesh, and foothills of the Himalayas, some parts. So these are the regions, okay, in India where you can find this tropical thorny forest. Very simple. Okay, what are the various species? What are the various species supported by this tropical thorny forest? Important trees are acacia again, wild palms, okay, euphorbias, next jad, tamarix, kair, coco, daman, and urenja, cacti, and kanju, and finally palas. These are the various species. Of course, this natural vegetation is not soundly suitable for the human habitation there. Fine. Anyways, next, the Himalayan moist forest. So in the name itself only you have a point that Himalayan forests. So they do exist in the regions of Himalayas. Fine. And also the moist forests. So obviously the pattern of rainfall should be even more generally. Fine. Anyways, when it comes to Himalayas, what would be the first point you come across the Himalayas? Altitude. You cannot suppose to expect the ground or the valleys. Fine. First of all, Himalayas, over the Himalayas, and its terrain, if you want to look out for the vegetation, you need to look out over the way, this altitude. You got it. So found in Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and northern hilly parts of North Bengal. These are the regions whereby what type of climatic condition do support this Himalayan moist forest? Temperate type. Because in the introduction only I told you, the forest ranges from tropical to temperate. So till now we have seen various types of tropical forest: tropical evergreen forest, tropical moist deciduous, tropical dry deciduous, tropical thorny. So these are the examples of the tropical forest. Now it is also important for you to mention the temperate type of climate which supports this kind of forest. Okay, that is the Himalayan moist forest. So this wet temperate type is found in a range of regions, or in a belt of regions where the altitude, it varies from 1000 meters to 2000 meters. So what are the important varieties of species you can find in this type of forest? Oak tree, chestnut, chir, sal, shrubs, and nutritious grasses. Of course, those are economically important, and in the point of health they are also very important. Fine, that is by, because you know it has medicinal values, and that is why Himalayas were supposed to be described as the natural habitat for the medicinal plants, right? That is how the things were. Anyways, next, again near the Himalayas, alpine and subalpine forests also you can see, and whereby there you have to talk about the altitude. And one more thing I forgot to tell you, see, when it comes to the temperate type of climatic zones which supports this type of forest like Himalayan moist forest and alpine subalpine forest, it's irrelevant to talk about the temperatures or average annual rainfall. It's better to talk about the altitudes, right? So here the altitude is, if you go more high, like 2500 meters to 3500 meters, if you start taking a trek, then you will find this kind of natural vegetation like alpine and subalpine forests. So these forests are characterized with short dwarf conifers and lush green nutritious grasses during the summer season. In the summer season, short dwarf conifers, okay, and lush green, okay, pure green, like dynamic bright green nutritious grasses, fine, you will find there. And generally, you know, the types of species are kale, spruce, yew, fierce, birch, and honeysuckle, artemisia, and potentilla, and finally small scrubs. These were found in this alpine tree. You got it right? These are the various species. Okay, so this is how you have to write about different types of forests. So the first demand of the body, you understood? So of course I can understand this is very heavy load for you, but one thing I am telling you, the revision is very important. Unless and until you revise, you won't be comfortable with all these types of forests and its biomes basically. Now let us go for the second part, okay, that is second part of the question in the body, that is you have to write about the interrelation between climate and forests in India, right? See, first of all, the relation between the climate and forests is highly important, is really crucial. It's really crucial because it is steered or it is driven by number of factors, and it provides huge amount of consequences which has economical, medicinal, and finally social impacts of the country, and finally it shapes the geography also of the region. Seriously, you got it? So here, first, between climate and forest, okay, in what aspect these two were related? First, precipitation patterns. Basically climate always influences the precipitation patterns, seriously. Okay, so because the precipitation, the temperature, okay, the pressure, all these were the elements of not only a weather system at shorter period of time, but if you take these elements as an aggregate for a longer period of time, it is nothing but the factors influences the climate. So precipitation influence, precipitation coming to the precipitation, climate influences precipitation levels. When the precipitation levels were influenced by particular climate, then obviously what do this precipitation level do? They will again influence the type of forests, because we are talking about moist forests, okay, dry forest. Why it is moist, why it is dry? When we are having more amount of rainfall, it is moist, evergreen, you got it. When it comes to low amount of rainfall, then it is what? It is dry. Clear? So the rainfall actually determines the nature, the characters of the particular forest. Okay, and this rainfall again influenced by the climate. Simple. So this particular precipitation level determines the type of forest that can thrive in different regions. You got it? Next, temperature. Temperature, see, there are temperature variations. Because of the altitude variation, pressure variations, we will be definitely having the temperature variations. Even these temperature variations are also associated with the different types of forests. So here, temperature variations affects the growth rate, distribution of forests, growth rate and distribution of forest vegetation. Okay, and tropical rainforest. Tropical rainforest, they flourish in hot, humid conditions, where temperate type of forests we just discussed, the last two to three types of forests. Those temperate forests thrive in cooler climate. So if you want to talk about the tropical climate, you should have an average temperature which is similar to the temperature thrive in summer. Okay, it should be hot relatively. But when it comes to temperate type of forests, you got it. So Himalayan moist type of forest or tropical thorny, moist Himalayan thorny forest, alpine, subalpine type of forest, all these kind of forests, they were temperate forests and they thrive, they flourish during the winter time. So even the difference of temperatures also determines the character of the forest, very simple. Seasonal changes. Because of the earth's revolution around the sun, we have number of seasons, right? So India experienced distinct, different seasons, including, for example, monsoon, summer, winter, and some sort of pre-monsoon, pre-monsoon showers. Forests, here they adapt to all these different types of seasons. For example, when it comes to dry season like summer season, what the deciduous forests do? They shed leaves. Why they shed leaves? They shed leaves because to save the water, to conserve the water. See, when it comes to the plant science, you have a concept called transpiration, right? That is the evaporation of water from which is present in the leaves or stems of the tree. So when it comes to the summer season or dry season, there will be a high rate of evaporation. Even the plants, these trees also are subjected to the high rate of evaporation. So in the point of the trees and plants, it is called transpiration anyhow. So to save or to conserve the water present in that particular tree, what they will do, they will shed the leaves. That is the science behind shedding the leaves, to conserve the water during summer season or the dry seasons. You got it right? That is the point. Fine. So this is how, even for the seasonal changes also, the different types of trees and the different types of forests, they accommodate themselves naturally. You got it? And finally, habitat and biodiversity. I already told you forest is nothing but a natural habitat, acting as a natural habitat, and it accommodates a large amount of biodiversity with ecosystem services. So these different types of forests which we have discussed till now, they act as a natural habitats for varied biodiversity in our country, which India is known for. And next, resources. See, forest not only gives you the ecosystem services but also the economic resources also. Forest actually acts as a resource. Fine. So resources such as, they regulate water cycles. They influence rainfall patterns. And they maintain groundwater levels also. These are the three services provided by the forest, ecosystem services provided by the forest. And they also act as a natural reservoirs. Fine. And they prevent soil erosion. They prevent soil getting eroded from, that is, soil erosion is eroding the top layer of the soil, right? So what they will do, చెట్లు యొక్క వేర్లు ఉంటాయి కదా, ఆ వేర్లు అనేది సాయిల్ మొత్తం పట్టించుతుంది. ఎప్పుడైతే డిఫారెస్ట్లో చెట్లు పోతాయో, సాయిల్ యొక్క టాప్ లేయర్ని పట్టించే ఆస్పెక్ట్ లేక, అంటే చెట్లు లేక, సో వెన్ ఇట్ కమ్స్ టు సమ్ సార్ట్ ఆఫ్ మాస్ వేస్టింగ్ కానీ, డెన్యుడేషన్ ప్రాసెస్లోని, వెదరింగ్ ప్రాసెస్లోని ఏంటంటే సాయిల్ ఎరోషన్ జరిగిపోతూ ఉంటుంది అనమాట. You got it? So next, it regulates river flows. This forest regulates the river flows and they replenish the groundwater resources. Replenishing the groundwater resources is the need of the hour. ఎందుకంటే మనం ఇప్పుడు scarcity of the groundwaterలోకి వెళ్ళిపోతున్నాం. Scarcity of the groundwater వెళ్ళిపోయి ఎంత వరకు ఎంత డెప్త్లోకి వెళ్ళిపోయాం అంటే, salinity of the groundwater పెరిగిపోతుంది. At the same time, because of the decreasing groundwater, our recent researchers have pointed out that the earth's tilt in an axis, because the earth has tilted with an angle of 23.5 degrees, right? The earth tilt is even going more tilted. That even bring up many changes which we have to accommodate. That might be resulted in the perishing away of Homo sapiens too. You got it? So anyways, and finally, these all services are very, very important for agriculture, human settlements. So this is how the forest acts as the resources. Understanding the forest, we can find the solutions to many problems which we are facing because of the climate change. And coming to that point, climate change resilience. Basically, forests acts as the solutions for whatever the climate change issues we have. But at the same time, these climate change poses serious challenges to the forest. Because whatever the ecosystem services provided by the forests, literally the forests are becoming helpless, they are becoming handicapped, okay, because of the increasing intensity of the climate change we are facing now. Whatever the ecosystem services provided to the forest, we couldn't able to get through. You got it? So climate change poses challenge to, okay, forest ecosystems. Literally, for example, what do you mean by posing challenge to forest ecosystem? Shift in temperature. Now I have clearly given you, earlier I have clearly given you the framework, fixed framework. Yes, this type of temperature needed, this type of average annual rainfall needed for this type of forests. But now we cannot, okay, rely upon that fixed science because of the shift in temperatures, shift in precipitation patterns, increasing frequency of extreme weather events, okay, extreme weather events, more rainfall or very less, worst rainfall pattern. You got it? High temperatures, fine. And finally, what's happening? Forests couldn't survive here. See, climate is mainly responsible for the different types of forests exist. But when this climate is getting changed, okay, because of the natural and anthropogenic factor, that's a different thing, leave about that. But when the climate is changing, the forests cannot survive. And when the forests were perished away, then literally forests are perished away means natural habitats are perishing away. When the natural habitats are perishing away, then crores of species, flora and fauna are becoming homeless, habitatless. You are understanding? That is why day by day IUCN ka red list is increasing basically because of one of the major factor for the endangered species is loss of habitat, loss of the natural habitat, there is loss of forest. You got it right? Anyways, sustainable forest management practices and conservation efforts, these two are important. When these two are important, if you want to come up with the sustainable management practices and conservation efforts, what you have to understand, again you have to come to the basics, understand the relation between the forest and climate. Simple. You got it right? So that is how you can bring the resilience to the India's forests. And finally, forests are good carbon sinks. For example, in the point of current affairs, I'll tell you, see, one of the, provision of Pranchamrit, which was committed by our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi in COP Conference of Parties 26 held at Glasgow, Scotland. One of the provision of Pranchamrit enti, attain net zero. Attain net zero, right? So attain net zero, this net zero carbon emission. What do you mean by the attainment of a net zero carbon emission? Carbon emission, you cannot simply stop the carbon emission, okay, on a sudden manner. You have to go through a phased manner. When it coming to the phased manner, అంటే carbon emissions అనే ఒక phased manner లో తగ్గించుకుంటూ రావాలి. అలా తగ్గించుకుంటూ వస్తున్నప్పుడు ఒక క్యాలిక్యులేషన్, ఎంత అయితే మీరు కార్బన్ ఎమిషన్ చేస్తున్నారో దానికి ఈక్వలెంట్గా కార్బన్ సింక్స్, ఏంటది కార్బన్ సింక్స్, ఇవి క్రియేట్ చేయాలి. కార్బన్ సింక్స్ అనేవి న్యాచురల్ కార్బన్ సింక్స్ ఏంటి, మళ్ళీ ఫారెస్ట్. కార్బన్ ఎమిషన్ ఏంటి, కార్బన్ సింక్ ఏంటి? కార్బన్ ఎమిషన్ అంటే ఏంటి, అట్మాస్ఫియర్లో కార్బన్ వదలడం. ఓకే, అండ్ ప్లాంట్స్ ఆర్ ది న్యాచురల్ సింక్స్ విచ్ అబ్జర్వ్స్ ది కార్బన్, ఈ ప్లాంట్స్ కానీ ఫారెస్ట్ కానీ. సో దీస్ ఫారెస్ట్ యాక్ట్స్ యాజ్ ది కార్బన్ సింక్స్. అగైన్ ఐ టోల్డ్ యూ, ఫారెస్ట్ ఆర్ ది సొల్యూషన్స్ ఫర్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ది ఎగ్జిస్టింగ్ ఛాలెంజెస్ వీఆర్ ఫేసింగ్. ఎందుకంటే ఇప్పుడు క్లైమేట్ చేంజ్ అంతా ఎక్కడి నుంచి స్టార్ట్ అయింది, గ్లోబల్ వార్మింగ్ స్టార్ట్ అయింది. గ్లోబల్ వార్మింగ్ అనేది increase of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which acts as a blanket, not allowing the terrestrial radiation out of the atmosphere, making the globe, making the earth's atmosphere and also the surface of the earth very warm, which we cannot tolerate. Tomorrow, global burning is a term which is getting ready for us to discuss. Anyways, so here see, it acts or it gives you the services called carbon sequestration, whereby it acts as vital or important carbon sinks. They absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere because for the photosynthesis they need carbon dioxide. For the photosynthesis they need carbon dioxide because photosynthesis, let's say for example, 6CO2 plus water, let's say H2O, some sort of 2H2O or something. In the light, sunlight, what will give you? It will give you the glucose, C6H12, O6. This is glucose, also called as energy, and O2, oxygen. oxygen is the end product. See, they will take the carbon dioxide, they will give you the oxygen. Fine, the oxygen are naturals, they absorb the carbon dioxide through photosynthesis, and they store the carbon in biomass, and they store the carbon in soil. Climate influences the rate of carbon sequestration in the forests. That is how the things were. So forests acts as the natural carbon sinks. They provide the facility of carbon sequestration. You're understanding, right? So this is how you have to write the points, determine relation or importance, okay, between the forest and climate. This is very crucial to understand actually. Need of the hour. Fine. Finally, let us conclude. ఇప్పటి వరకు ఇంట్రడక్షన్ నుంచి బాడీ వరకు ఏ పాయింట్ మీద ఎంఫసిస్ చేసి మనం మాట్లాడుకున్నాం? ఫారెస్ట్ యాక్టింగ్ యాజ్ న్యాచురల్ హ్యాబిటేట్ టు డిఫరెంట్ స్పీసెస్. Forest acts as it acts as the solution for what going on, the climate change. Finally, we need to understand the relation between forest and climate to properly manage and conserve the species and to bring up the solutions for what we are facing now, climate change, the disastrous impacts. That is what, right? That is what exactly we have comprehended, fine, in the body of the answer. అదే మీరు కంక్లూజన్లో రాయాలి. ఎప్పుడైనా కంక్లూజన్ అనేది కొత్తగా ఎక్కడి నుంచి తీసుకురాకండి. మీరు ఏమైతే రాసారో అవే రాయండి. కంక్లూడింగ్ యువర్ ఆన్సర్. యు గాట్ ఇట్. సో ఇన్ కంక్లూజన్, ఇండియాస్ డైవర్స్ క్లైమేట్ ప్లేస్ ఎ క్రూషియల్ రోల్ ఇన్ షేపింగ్ ఇట్స్ వారీడ్ ఫారెస్ట్ ఎకోసిస్టమ్. ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? ఎస్. విచ్ ఇన్ టర్న్, ఇంకా ఈ ఫారెస్ట్స్ అనేవి అంటే త్రూ ఫారెస్ట్ ద క్లైమేట్ ఈస్ కాంట్రిబ్యూటింగ్ సిగ్నిఫికెంట్లీ టు ద నేషన్స్ బయోడైవర్సిటీ, economy and overall well-being. Okay, this is the determined declaration you are giving in conclusion. Alage second part of the question enti interrelation kada. Understanding the interrelation between the climate and forest is essential for effective conservation efforts, sustainable resource management, finally adaptation to climate change challenges in India. So nenu ekkada kuda introduction nunchi body and conclusion varaku, okay, 2 main demands, 2 అంటే 2, 3 అంటే 3, ఎన్ని అంటే అన్ని మెయిన్ డిమాండ్స్ ఆఫ్ ద క్వశ్చన్స్ వదలకూడదు. మీరు క్యారీ చేసుకుంటూ రావాలి. మీ యొక్క ఆన్సర్ రైటింగ్ ఫ్రేమ్వర్క్లో ఇది ఒకటి అలవాటు చేసుకోండి రోజు. అండ్ ఐఎమ్ ఎక్స్పెక్టింగ్ దట్ ఈ క్వశ్చన్ ఆన్సర్ మీకు విష్ణు ఐఏఎస్ టెలిగ్రామ్ ఛానల్లో ఉంటుంది మీకు. సో ఐఎమ్ ఎక్స్పెక్టింగ్ దట్ బై ద టైమ్ యు ఆర్ వాచింగ్ ద వీడియో ఆఫ్ మైండ్ క్వశ్చన్ నోట్ డౌన్ చేసుకున్నారు. అండ్ ఐఎమ్ ఎక్స్పెక్టింగ్ ఆల్సో దట్ యు ఆర్ టేకింగ్ సమ్ సార్ట్ ఆఫ్ షార్ట్ నోట్స్. సో టాపిక్ అయిపోగానే అంటే వీడియో ఎండ్ అయిపోగానే ప్లీజ్ డూ ఎన్ష్యూర్ ఆఫ్ రీడింగ్ వన్స్, రిమెంబరింగ్ ద పాయింట్, స్ట్రక్చరింగ్ ద పాయింట్. టైమర్ పెట్టుకోండి, ఒక 15 minutes టైమర్ పెట్టుకోండి. 15 minutes టైమర్ పెట్టుకొని ఒక స్టాప్ వాచ్ పెట్టుకొని రాయండి. ఓకే, సెల్ఫ్ ఎవాల్యుయేట్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్. యు గాట్ ఇట్ రైట్. దట్ ఈస్ ద మెయిన్ ఇంటెంట్. ఎందుకంటే బేసికలీ మీరు మీ యొక్క ఆన్సర్ రైటింగ్ డెవలప్మెంట్ జరుగుద్ది కాబట్టే మేము ప్రతిరోజు ఎట్ ద రేట్ ఆఫ్ 5 PM, మండే టు సాటర్డే ఎట్ ద రేట్ ఆఫ్ 5 PM నేను ప్రతిరోజు ప్రతి కొత్త సబ్జెక్ట్తో కొత్త టాపిక్తో వస్తాం. నేను హిస్టరీ, జోగ్రఫీ, రేపు ఇంకో టాపిక్. ఫైన్, దట్ ఈజ్ ఆన్ ద లైన్స్ ఆఫ్ ది యూపీఎస్సీ మెయిన్ స్టాండర్డ్ క్వశ్చన్స్. యు గాట్ ఇట్. సో ఇది తప్పకుండా కన్సిస్టెంట్గా ఫాలో అవ్వండి. దానివల్ల రోజుకొక మెయిన్స్ ఆన్సర్ రాస్తారు మీరు. ఓకే, అలాగే మీ ఫ్రెండ్స్కి కూడా షేర్ చేయండి ఇఫ్ యూ ఫీల్ దిస్ ఈజ్ ప్రొడక్టివ్. Okay, so this is everything for today, guys. I hope you had enjoyed this session, even I too. Thank you so much. Stay tuned to VISHNU IAS Academy. Thank you.